Hineni, here I am, and you can't imagine how weird it is for me to be standing before you on Yom Kippur as president of a synagogue. I'll tell you why in a minute, but first I want to talk to you about how grateful I am for so much this high holiday season. I'm grateful for Rabbi Shaban's moving service and angelic voice, for Irene, Lisa, and Lital's stirring music, for the board of trustees and staff devoted to B'nai Tikva, willing to give time and energy to creating the vibrant synagogue community we have. And I'm grateful for how we've come together as a community, even though we are worshiping remotely. And I'm especially grateful for my friend, predecessor, and advisor, Judith Baral, who not only delivered our high holiday announcements with charm and enthusiasm, but also, and more important, navigated us through the last 2 years with dignity and grace. Judith is a class act and a hard act to follow. Anyway, why do I think it's weird that I'm here, that I'm at CBT's president? That requires a little talk about me and a little talk about my CBT. First, I'm an atheist. And until relatively recently, I was of the firm belief that organized religion was more often a source of discord and strife than a vessel for good. However, I've always felt clearly Jewish. I had a bar mitzvah, but my parents never belonged to a synagogue. I guess the term cultural Jew would have fit me. When Claire and I were raising a family, we thought our kids should have a strong background in Judaism. We joined a large, well-established Reform congregation in a New York suburb, sent our kids to its religious school through high school, and attended services dutifully but unenthusiastically. We continued our synagogue membership after our kids left religious school, but although I liked and respected our rabbi, I never felt I was part of the synagogue's family. In 2011, we bought a house in Walnut Creek. Claire found CBT and fell in love immediately. I, on the other hand, was not so enamored. From 2011 to 2016, I continued to work in New York and traveled to California once or twice a month. I try to get here for high holidays, but not always, attend some Shabbat services, but not eagerly, and basically continued my tepid interest in synagogue life despite hearing about the warmth and friendliness of CBT's congregants. In 2016, I finally moved to California full-time. Claire had joined the CBT Social Action Committee. One Sunday, I attended a Social Action Committee meeting. We had become friendly with Allison Negrin. I was hoping that the Social Action Committee would give me an introduction to some folks at CBT who shared my interest in social justice work. Allison had asked at one point for someone to work with her as co-chair because, post-2016, the Social Action Committee grew and became more active. I told Claire I was interested after we got home from the meeting. She said, "Nope, you are too New York." Ordinarily, I'd think that was a compliment, but I'm pretty sure she didn't mean it as such. We decided to leave it up to Allison and invited Kevin and Allison to brunch and laid out the pros from me and the cons from you-know-who of me being co-chair. Allison was not dissuaded. Actually, I think no one else had volunteered. I was looking for a meaningful way to get involved and found an alignment with my passion for justice work and tikkun olam in the Social Action Committee with Allison Negrin. This was my pathway to the CBT board, where I went from the general board to being more involved as an executive board member and, hineni, the president. And along the way, I came to love and appreciate the warmth and depth of my fellow congregants and the importance of our community in our lives. Notice, I am not calling us members. CBT is not a club to which we pay dues to belong. CBT is a community to which we commit whatever resources we can to enable it to thrive. Since I made this commitment to our congregational family, and because I took a leadership role, I wanted to become more knowledgeable about our religion. I explored many sources. I started attending Lunch and Learn. Lunch and Learn meets most Tuesdays with Rabbi Shaban to read, analyze, and discuss the week's Torah's portion. We have our regulars, and what's both fascinating and inspiring to me is that we all come to Lunch and Learn with different beliefs about the Torah. A few of us believe that the Torah is a book of Jewish myths that was first passed down orally, edited by humans into the text that now forms our sacred book. A few believe that the Torah is the literal word of God, given to Moses on Mount Sinai. Others believe the Torah was written by humans, but divinely inspired. Others are unsure of the Torah's exact source, but whatever its origin, know that it is the foundation of our faith. What impresses me most about our discussions is that we can talk to each other with kindness and grace, even though our fundamental understanding and beliefs are different. The fact that these discussions happen without any rancor or ill will is because we are all, to use the cliche of the day, in this together. Our different beliefs do not, dare I use the word, trump our commonality of purpose. The magic that occurs at Lunch and Learn, the love and care we feel for one another, and the pluralism of thought and beliefs is a microcosm of what happens in our congregational family. More than anything, CBT is a community with a commonality of purpose to which we each bring our own faith and reasons for congregating together. Some of us are here, as Jeff Weil said in describing his CBT, occasional Jews. We have a lot of occasional Jews during the high holidays. CBT cherishes your presence. We are grateful that we can provide you the space to worship and celebrate our most holy days. You are important for CBT's existence. Some of us are at CBT because we want our children to have meaningful Jewish educations up to and including their B'nai Mitzvah. CBT could not provide the religious school without our friends who we only see twice a year. And we could not provide for our twice-a-year friends without our religious families. Some of us are at CBT because we want a home to worship and pray on Shabbat and during our sacred holidays. Their children are out of school. They're not interested in CBT's social action and social justice work. We can provide a community for them because our twice-a-year Jews and religious school families have made CBT their home. Some of us are here because we believe that faith-based institutions have the moral authority to influence social policy with our Jewish values and help repair the world as we bend the arc towards social justice. Many of us fit in several of these groups. Again, each person's reason for joining our congregational family may be different, but the existence of our community depends on the inclusion of all of us. And I dare say that the strength of our community depends on the diversity of our congregation. Some institutions refer to these different groups as silos, standalone groups who don't share a commonality of purpose. I like to think of the different groups of our congregation as pillars, the support for our big tent. And it seems to me, the more pillars we have to support the structure of our institution, the stronger and healthier we are. One of the cornerstones of our congregation, set by Mark Usatin and our founding members, is that of genuine and warm, welcoming community in which everyone feels a sense of belonging. We also welcome those of us who belong to a synagogue because it provides a connection to Israel and its centrality to life in the diaspora. We welcome our LGBTQ friends and families looking for an open and inclusive synagogue. We welcome Jews of color looking for a synagogue in which their Jewish identity will not be questioned. We welcome millennials, Gen X, Y, and Zers who have been unable to find a fountain to quench their spiritual thirst. We welcome interfaith families. We welcome folks who want to convert to Judaism. We welcome those who are unsure of their own religious identity. The more pillars we can add to support our big tent, the stronger the tent will be, and the better able we will be to withstand whatever ill winds blow our way. It's because of our pillars that we have not only survived, but have thrived in the face of the COVID pandemic and the challenges it has caused. And let's not forget, one of our strongest pillars is composed of our founding and longtime members who had the foresight to create a synagogue based on kindness and community. Rabbi, maybe we can sneak in a Debbie Friedman tune on occasion for them. And it's also because of congregants who have given their time and energy to CBT that we are maintaining our ability to be what we want CBT to be. I offer a special thanks to our congregants who made our High Holiday experience so meaningful. Our High Holiday Task Force and Honors Team, the COVID Response Team, and the High Holiday Volunteers. You received their names in an email I sent. Please thank them. And of course, none of what we do would be possible without our devoted staff, Karen, Chanel, Kathy, Dorit, and Tammy. We are extraordinarily grateful for you and all you do. Which brings me to the part of this talk that I am most uncomfortable giving, but is the most important to the health of B'nai Tikva. That's our High Holiday Appeal. You all should have gotten our goodie bag that has a yellow pledge card as well as a note from me. If you haven't picked it up yet, you can still call the office. The same information that's on the yellow card was sent yesterday and will be sent tomorrow in virtual form. Look for the link. This year, our goal is different than we've announced in previous years. We usually set a monetary goal that we want to reach. Last year, we exceeded that goal, but only 59 contributors participate in the drive. This year, the goal is 100% participation. I'm appealing to everyone to pledge something. Your participation in this drive, whether you donate $18, $180, $1,800, or whatever amount you're comfortable with, demonstrates that we all understand that we are here for one another, that we share the culture of gratitude that we are encouraging. CBT is and will be forever grateful to you. Imagine the message it sends if we can say 100% of us who joined in our Yom Kippur service contributed to our appeal. I know that this goal is aspirational. I know that it may be impossible to achieve. So, to encourage as many of us as possible to participate in this appeal, I offer the following incentive. If 75% of the screens receiving our services, and I think about 200 are receiving the streaming services, if 75% of us pledge by September 30th something for this appeal, in gratitude for that, an anonymous donor will contribute $10,000 to the High Holiday Appeal. Let me say that again. If 75% pledge, CBT will receive an additional $10,000. Please don't let this generous offer expire. Let's demonstrate our gratitude to CBT as a community. As I said, we are all in this together. As you know, at the end of the Passover Seder, we say, next year in Jerusalem. Well, at the end of this High Holiday Appeal, I say, next year in St. Matthew's. Thank you. Shana Tova.